Our government has funded research in everything from vaccines carried in food, such as bananas and tomatoes, to edible contraceptives. This kind of technology has widespread implications, and the regulation on testing of these pharma crops is just not as stringent as you might think.
In July of 2002, a report raised concern about 300 secret locations across the United States growing experimental drugs on food crops. Just one mistake by a biotech company, and we'll be eating other people's prescription drugs in our cornflakes.
Yay, cereal!
Hold on, Timmy. That's not your average breakfast cereal. That's
Pharma flakes, they're engineered delicious. What's engineered?
Well, Timmy, we took your regular food into a lab so scientists could make it the most pharmaceutically powerful food in the world.
Wow, it's like having a doctor in my kitchen.
No prescription necessary. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, irritable bowels, memory loss, sterility, infertility,
heart palpitations, dementia, cancer, organ failure,
coma, and even death.
Pharma flakes, they're engineered delicious. Throughout the early part of the last decade, a biotech firm named Protogene was growing pharmaceutical drug components of genetically modified corn crops in open-air testing fields throughout the Midwest.
So we've taken a day trip to College Station, Texas, the location of the University of A&M specializing in agriculture, and we're now going to take a drive through the former headquarters of Protogene, the now defunct company. Here's the building that used to house Protogene
Headquarters.
You can see various firefighter and ambulance vehicles, part of the Texas A&M Engineering TEEX Division Services. No longer any direct sign of Protogene other than the greenhouses we saw on the back side of that building. Behind me you could see one of Protogene's greenhouses where they undoubtedly did research and preparation.
Protogene's cornfields were filled with GM maize that was engineered to produce hepatitis B vaccine ingredients, a gastrointestinal pig virus, a blood clotting agent, an insulin enzyme, and GP120, an AIDS virus protein for an experimental vaccine.
In 2002, the USDA caught and fined Protogene $250,000 after two separate incidents of its pharmaceutical corn escaping its test bins and contaminating food crops intended for human consumption. Moreover, the farmers were never even told exactly what they were growing in their fields. Instead, Protogene only vaguely hinted at what was being developed in their experimental crops by telling them it was a protein. Protogene's food contamination scandal was much bigger than just the $250,000 fine that was imposed by the FDA. Protogene had been testing its crops on 96 different sites. All of these were genetically modified varieties that scientists hoped could produce drugs in more volume than ever before. GMOs in general have become extremely controversial with the American public. In the case of Protogene, they were testing these biopharmaceuticals on the backs of genetically modified corn grown in America's heartland, next to major food crops, including corn and soy destined for Americans' dinner plates.
The USDA basically slapped Protogene on the wrist, paid to clean up its mess, and all the while it's threatening our food supply. Still to this day, the USDA has not released information on what specific drug components were growing on the GM corn that got out.
Many people believe Protogene received a slap on the wrist because it was a darling of Vilsack's Governor's Biotechnology Partnership, and moreover, it was iconic of the profits and future potential for the entire biopharmaceuticals industry.
The incidents in 2002 with Protogene was not the last time that Protogene showed up being non-compliant. Protogene had agreed that it and its successors and interests would never again apply to the biotechnology regulatory surface through the USDA. They were banned from doing it in 2004. That same year, John Howard, who co-founded Protogene, also decided to go ahead and co-found Applied Biotechnology Institute. So while Protogene is essentially defunct and barred from getting any further permits to do this kind of pharma crop testing, its founder is essentially continuing this kind of testing with the explicit financial backing of our government.